Well, hello again everyone and welcome to Chem 2100. What I want to do in this video is take you through the course outline and point out some of the features about the course and how some of the things that we're going to do, and again what is a unique online offering of this particular course. So let's start by taking a look at the course outline here. We'll just transition to the course outline. And welcome to, again, organic chemistry. So we are taking Chem 2100, and I just want to take a moment to point out here that this particular course is part of our new program. You may have heard a little bit about that over the last few months. We've certainly been advertising it quite a lot. So you're transitioning into the new program here by taking Chem 2100, Organic Chemistry 1. This replaces the old Chem 2210 or Organic 1. You're going to catch me from time to time using 2210 by accident. Taught that course for a very long time. This is the first offering of this new course. There are some changes to the course content. In particular, we've removed spectroscopy from this particular course, which is what we used to offer in 2210. We've moved that into the lab course. But for the most part, the course content remains the same in the lectures here. And so the old courses in the old program used to be Chem 2210 or Organic 1 and Chem 2220, Organic 2, and each of those two courses had a lab embedded as part of their 3 credit hours. What we've done in the new program is we've split that out into a 3 credit hour lab course. So we now have the new Chem 2100, this course. That'll be followed by Chem 2110 or Organic 2. And as part of that, it'll be Chem 2122, the new lab course, each with 3 credit hours and now 9 credit hours of second year organic. And so you're registered in Chem 2100. Some of you may be taking the lab this fall. Some of you may be taking it in the winter. Some of you may never need to take that lab at all, and that's things that you decide as you set up your program and maybe in consultation with an advisor. So spend a minute talking about this particular course. It's not much different from the old one. It's still organic chemistry, and it's going to introduce the structure and bonding of organic molecules. We'll talk a bit about organic functional groups as part of that discussion, and we'll focus on a little bit of the 3-dimensional shape of organic molecules. And then we'll talk about things like pKa values and how we use that and connect it to the chemical structure of the molecules themselves to rationalize an awful lot of organic behavior, organic chemical behavior. And then we'll finish this off with a bunch of reactions, introducing reactions. We're going to talk about substitution reactions, elimination reactions, and addition reactions, and start looking at some of the patterns that we observe in all of those reactions there. So in order to be able to enroll in this course, you need a mark of C or better in Chem 1310 in the old program, or in the future, none of you have taken this courses yet, but in the future you'll need a C or better in Chem 1110 and 1120. So both the second half of first year and the lab program, lab course to get into this course. You have to make sure that you've got the right prerequisites to be able to be enrolled in this course. Aurora may have allowed you to register, but if it gets to the end and you're not properly meant to be in this course, you won't get credit for it as well. And so there'll be other courses that says not to be held with. So for example, if you've taken and passed the old Chem 2210, you're not allowed to be in this course and take it for credit. Chem 2100 is a prerequisite for both Chem 2110, that is Organic 2, and Biochem 2 under the new program. The course number is 2710. So you need this course to get into either one of those courses as well. The textbook for this offering of the course is the 4th edition of the Klein textbook. We've set that up online for you to be able to access that textbook. You can get the information through the Learn site. There's material there on how to get the course code and put that into the Wiley's online system to be able to get access to that. And it comes bundled with Organic Chemistry as a second language 1 and 2. These are also by David Klein, and they're a very helpful additional resource for that for this as well. And the molecular model kit is also in the bookstore available. I'll show you in a minute on a slide what those kind of look like and talk about those. There's also a student study guide that's available for this course. So here's the textbook, the picture of the outside of the textbook. For those of you that might be interested in buying the physical book, there are some going to be available in the bookstore, and the second language book also in the 4th edition. That second language book is a really valuable resource, especially for those of you out there that might have struggled a little bit through first year and are kind of wondering about getting through organic. That second language book is very, very helpful for getting you through some of that extra information as well. Also highly recommended is a Darling model kit that's available in the bookstore. And so there's the Darling model kit. We'll use them online. You can see a few of them peeking over my shoulder on the shelf behind me. We'll use those constantly throughout the course. They're super helpful for visualizing the three-dimensional shape of molecules, which will also in turn help us understand the outcome of reactions. You're allowed to use those in both the midterm and final exam in this particular course, and we'd strongly encourage you to get those because it will be, I think, for many of you, a huge benefit to have that, be able to visualize that in front, especially when we're all kind of more or less still stuck in the two-dimensional world for the most part of this course. Other material that's required, we're going to do online homework in Chem 2100 this year. What we're going to do is we're going to generate our own homework questions, and we're going to use it in an online system called CrowdMark. So some of you may have used this particular software package for first year or other courses that have used it. We used it last year to administer our online midterm and final exam, and we found it very helpful for that and give us the idea to be able to use this for the assignments that we're going to generate in Chem 2100. So participating in online homework is mandatory. It'll be part of the, and I'll show you in a minute, it'll be part of the assessment of the course, but there is no cost associated with the use of CrowdMark. It's totally free. We have a license for its use at the University of Manitoba, and we're going to take advantage of that. A full schedule of those assignments that we're going to put up will be posted in the first week of classes, and just to let you know how and when we're going to set those up. And as a resource for doing not only just the online course itself, but also for these homework questions, we're going to have a TA-led resource room. So these will be organic chemistry graduate students and students that are often have TA'd quite often in the past in the laboratory for organic chemistry. We're going to put them to work in an online open resource where you can come to them and get some questions answered about the course material, some of the homework questions potentially. They'll have worked examples to walk you through in those sessions to give you an idea about how to solve some of the problems that we'll put online. And we'll put also up a full schedule of these, the resource room times, again, of course, all online on Zoom or some other platform, but likely on Zoom. We'll put a full schedule of that up in the first few days of term and give you some more information about how that's going to work. The grading scheme in Organic 1 here is outlined here. The homework will count for 25% of the total assessment in the course. The midterm test, and the dates are there in a minute, 30% of the final assessment, and the final exam in December will be 45%. Now, of course, if you've taken courses in the past, the lab would have formed a part of the grading scheme. That's, of course, gone. It's a separate course entirely on its own. So that's absent from this grading scheme. That's something new for this particular year. So participation on the online homework is mandatory for full credit in Chem 2100. Again, there's a 2210 that snuck in there. The midterm exam for this particular course, the date set and firm will not be changed. That's Friday, October 29th at 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. That's in the evening that Friday. And this exam will be delivered remotely using that CrowdMark environment. And of course, we'll post an awful lot more details as we get a bit closer to that date. Final exam, all students in the course must write the final exam, and that date will be set by the registrar's office, and they usually release that sometime just after Thanksgiving. And of course, if you don't write the final exam, you don't pass the course. Final grade scores will be broken down in this particular way here. And this is part of the course outline that's been posted on UM Learn, so I don't want to go through this in too much detail, but we've mark of 55 or greater is required for full credit in this course, and the grade scores or the letter grade scores are broken down in this particular fashion. A couple of comments about expectations. Sadly, we're all a bit more used to the online environment now than what we once were, and so we're stuck with it for another term. And so, of course, the online environment we treat the same way you would an in-person interaction in class, be respectful to each other online. That includes not only in the class, but other environments that might be associated with the university or courses. Academic integrity, which includes things like copying from each other, which includes the homework assignments, copying them from each other. That's not allowed, of course. You have to do your own independent work. And being online is no excuse and is absolutely no protection from being caught in terms of inappropriate collaboration. So last year in Organic 1, we caught 2 students that handed in identical midterm exams in the online environment. We caught them even though there was over 400 students in the course. It came out, even in that online marking environment, we could see that the 2 exams are the same. The students clearly copied from each other, and they didn't do very well in the course. In fact, I believe they failed the course as a punishment as a result of that. And as well, the university has been exceptionally proactive in monitoring online environments during midterm and final exam assessments. So any kind of social media forums, chat rooms, things like that are monitored, and other online resources, so places where you can get post questions and get them solved online. We pay very careful attention to that and monitor those for activity during midterms, and there was an awful lot of students got caught in those kind of environments last year. So please just stay away from doing that kind of stuff. It doesn't pay off in the end. We have people here that are very good at catching that kind of stuff. Anyways, a little bit more information on that link at the bottom, again in the course outline itself, to get some idea about sort of the academic misconduct expectations at the university. Okay, and so I'll just wrap up this video here with a bit of a more detailed course outline itself, the sections of the textbook that we're going to cover, the topics we're going to cover as well. And so again, this is posted fully in the course outline that's available on Learn. We're going to talk a little bit about structure and bonding and hydrocarbons, but we'll begin before that even just with a brief review of concepts in structure and bonding that we think you knew from general chemistry, and we'll kind of introduce those ourselves in a way that focuses on what the things that we need to pay attention to if we're going to be talking about organic chemistry. We'll do all of chapter 4 and look at hydrocarbons and a little bit on aromatic hydrocarbons because it fits in quite well with the things we talk about after that. We're going to do the chapter 5 on the stereochemistry of the three-dimensional shape of organic molecules and introduce the concept of chirality. And that leads us into mechanisms of organic reactions. How do these organic molecules react with each other? So at the start of that third section, we'll talk a little bit about the functional groups in some more detail, because understanding the chemistry of the functional groups really goes a long way to explaining everything else that comes after that, including sort of the mechanism of how these organic reactions take place, and we'll show you what we mean by that in some detail when we get there. And then the last two sections of the course focus, I think, on what's really the fun part of the course. We start talking about reactions, substitution and elimination reactions, and using what we learned about organic structures to understand and ultimately predict the outcome of these reactions. And then addition reactions as well is where we'll kind of add that to the end of the course. That's new for Organic 1 this year. That's a new section to Organic 1 that we've added because we've removed from Organic 1 the spectroscopy that we used to do. You'll see that in 21-22 when you take the lab course, if you need to take it. And we'll finish that off all together with kind of an understanding of how these reactions come together. So for now, I just want to leave it there and say that's my welcome to Organic 1. And what we'll do is in the next video, we'll kind of get things started starting to talk about some of the course material itself.